Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Mentorship Pacific. We're here at Keanu Productions and we're interviewing Joe today. Once again, I'm the host, Alvin Sanga, and we're keep on rolling with these mentors, man. Keep in line with us and keep following. So, Joe, thanks for being on the show, man.
Zeus Mossy. Happy everybody.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for tuning in.
Cool. So, this is my first time meeting Joe, and we're off to the races right now. So, Joe, share one thing that most people might not know about you.
One thing that most people might not know. Let's see. I would probably say that I graduated with a degree in computer systems engineering, and I worked for Microsoft as a computer systems engineer and a senior project manager before I left to come back home to Guam. So that's something that's hidden. People are like, ukulele player, computer systems. How does that work out? Computer guy, how does that work out?
Cool.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll use that as a jumping point. So computer systems engineer to playing music. So talk me to what your story is. How do we get to where we are today?
If we were actually talking about story, it started with music.
Okay.
Then it moved that way. So I learned how to play music from my mom. My mom played guitar, and back then, we used to hang out with the family, barbecues, and all that kind of stuff, and just jam guitar. So my mom was kind of the musician.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody would sing, and her brothers too, were musicians. So everybody would sing around, and I would literally be the kid that goes up to my mom while she's playing and just, strum while she's strumming too, So I let my daughter do that, or any of my nephews and nieces. I let them come over and strum too. So that's kind of where it all started. My family is very musical, so I'm really thankful for that. And so music just kind of stayed with me for the whole time. And I carried an ukulele to college. Okay. And then got my degree in computer systems engineering. I don't even know how I got really interested in like the technology side of the thing, but I did, and that's kind of how it all started. So and then when I came back to Guam in 2011 after being in the States for 12 years, I while I was in the States, I was also playing. I actually, for the first 12 years of my professional musician career, I played in the mainland, right? So when I came back to Guam in 2011, I started playing, a little bit gigs here. I'm so glad that the musician group and the Guam community accepted me as a musician, because that's kind of where I place myself as a musician. That anybody can say they want to become a musician, but only until the community accepts you can you really be a musician. So thank you to everybody out there for accepting me and letting me play some music for you guys, really. So that's kind of how it all transitioned, and now I'm back home in Guam and playing music for a living, and really, really grateful that I can do this to support my family.
Let's talk there. What struggles did you go through, kind of on the musician side of things, like where we're at now? Like, what struggles did you have?
Well, I mean, right off the bat, we're talking already first just about like purchasing stuff, right? Thankful that in these days there's a lot of great technology equipment that allows us to be able to record ourselves and produce ourselves and do things music wise on our own. Long time ago, man, you got to think about like all of the people who released music here on Guam back in the day, like Jay Crutch, Frank Wolfman, Pangolin, right, Casey Longer. All those guys, back in the day, in order to record, you needed to go into a studio and you needed to pay studio time, and it was really a lot of money. Now we're fortunate to do that, but I mean, even at that, challenges with like, purchasing equipment, right? Purchasing, thankfully we have people on Guam like American Music, where you can go purchase stuff. Micropack has, they sell the Bose system, and it just like you can buy instruments and things that can help you in your musical endeavors, right? That right there in itself is a challenge, right? When I was in the States, I could just go down the street to any of the music stores, just right there, and buy whatever I want, or Amazon and get it the next day, right? I mean, we buy stuff on Amazon today, and we're like hoping it doesn't get caught in the Richmond hold, right? I think we all know what we're talking about, right? And for those of you out there not watching, the Richmond hold is like the 6 to 8 week hold, right?
That's something where you get a refund.
Right. We hope to get it in like 1 or 2 weeks. But yeah, I mean, that was the big challenge right there. And the other thing too is Guam is so new to the recording scene. Relatively speaking. Let's talk about, let's just talk about like all of the advancements and experience, really the skill set they have in like LA, right? I mean, even in Honolulu, and you take a look at all what they have to offer here in Guam. You know, we're still kind of new to that scene, so there's a lot of people in this scene on Guam that are really making strides. You know, you got guys like, you know, Acoustic Attack, you got like Binary Sunset. I mean, take a look at the bands that have been so prolific this past couple of years, like the John Dank Show, 4-piece band, right? A Long Drive Home, like all those guys, man. I mean, just it's giving me goosebumps just kind of thinking about how much they've lifted, you know, lifted the level of music here in Guam. It's been awesome, you know, and that's kind of where it goes back to. It's just like, you know, big ups and props to all of our boys who are making it out there in the States, right? And we, because they're inspiring us. They're really giving us motivation, and at the same time, but they hold the Guam name when they're out there in the States. And so that people are like, oh, you're from Guam? You're like, wow, man, your music's cool. And they're like, what else is out there in Guam? You know, so that really helps us. Just them being out there in the grind really helps us. And then we're here, and I just have I had this conversation just not too long ago with Bulata from Master Random, right? We were talking about this. You know, there's a lot of guys there's a lot of talent on Guam, and we're slowly bridging the gap between raw talent and releasing publishing. Right? Yep. There's a gap in the middle there, right? Where now we're building the skill set for us people to produce, to record, to mix, you know, and to master that kind of stuff. So getting it to releasing and the opportunities are there. So those are some of the challenges. I feel like we're all of the community of musicians here in Guam are collectively really getting over. And it's awesome to see, man. Again, like, take a look at how excited people are now for music come out of Guam, and I love it, man. I love it.
We're going to talk about foundations then. So usually what we're about is looking for mentors. And I think kind of your foundation is always going to be a mentor. 1, 2, 3 people that, you know, either inspired you or really like motivated you to push along. So could you name or give me, you know, characteristics of like 2 or 3 mentors that helped you along here?
Sure. Oh, this question. Okay, so right off the bat, we're talking about music. There's only one mentor that I've had in music, and this may even surprise her. It's my wife, right? My mom and my mom and my mom's family, they're very musically inclined, and they showed me the ropes of music. But in terms of the definition of being a mentor, and I take the definition of being a mentor as someone who takes who takes time to coach you through struggles, to guide you in the right path, to give you a beacon to head for, right? Point you in the right direction based on what you've told them you want to do. So really, my music level took a significant elevation turn when I met my wife, Jackie. About 6.5, 7 years ago, right? Yeah, we were married for 5 years. We've been together since, so I got it right, hun. So, when I met her, I mean, she's a phenomenal musician, right? She's a piano instructor on the production side of our company. She's the instruction side, right? I'm the production and the performance side, and she performs with me too a bunch of times, which is awesome. So she knows music a lot more than I do. So I kind of have a built-in mentor. Like for example, every single song that we produce in here, I'll write something and then I'll send it to her and on WhatsApp or whatever. I'm like, what did you and she'll say, everything sounds good except for this part. We need to talk about this part. I'm like, perfect. So I kind of have like a built-in like validator in a way, right? So she's been an awesome mentor. I mean, my mom showed me music in the beginning. And if you don't mind, I'd like to actually talk about this idea of mentorship because as a coach, I coach other different aspects and verticals. And as a coach, I feel like everybody learns in a different way.
Yes.
Right? So some people prefer to learn by being shown something. Some people prefer to learn by reading, or some people prefer to learn by hands-on activity. So everyone learns differently, right? I prefer to self-learn. That's just the way it is. But I feel like most of my quote-unquote mentorships in this sense actually are a group of inspirations. So what I mean by that, like, for example, if I go and I see, I go and I see like Uncle Patrick Palomo play, and I hear him do something, I see him do something, that's an inspiration for me. Like, oh, I saw what he did. Then I go home and I research the heck out of it. Like if it's YouTube or if it's online or if it's courses, you know, with today's content that's available, like what you guys are doing, there's a ton of content out there. So, and even content you can pay for in books or whatever. So I go and I research that, and I consume as much of it as possible. But it was all triggered and inspired by Uncle Patrick Mahomes. So that kind of recipe has recurred a lot of times in my life, which is an awesome thing. So my mentorship, and I've never really had someone to come in and like actually stand by me and mentor me, but there's been a lot of inspirations that have led me to research that have, you know, I kind of considered mentoring, right?
Then let's transition then. So let's think 10 years back.
Okay.
If you were to give yourself advice 10 years ago, you know, about how to either speed things up, or, you know, if you had to slow things down, what would you tell yourself?
Okay, hands down, the one thing I would have told myself 10 years ago was, stop being so focused on success. Stop being so focused on trying to succeed through the grind. I think a lot of us are all in that boat, right, where we're trying to again succeed in the grind, and instead start focusing on just serving others. 10 years ago, if I were, you know, I remember that guy 10 years ago. He was a lot younger. He was definitely a firecracker, and most of the people who kind of knew me would probably say the same thing. But I tell him, you know, stop worrying so much about trying to be successful. Stop trying to worry about trying to get through the grind so much. Instead, focus your efforts on trying to serve the people around you. If you again go and partner up with the restaurant to service and entertain the people, how can you serve that restaurant, your partner, right? If you get hired to play a big show at the UOG Fieldhouse, stop focusing on being successful. Really focus on how can you serve that event, right? There's that. If I could tell that person, my 10 years ago, that I think a lot of headaches would have I would have avoided.
Let's project. Let's go 10 years forward.
Okay.
Let's project. What's Joe doing now? What are you doing?
All right. So 10 years from now, my goal is to shift more into producing, recording, and mixing.
Okay.
And really trying to help everybody who needs or wants or is looking for help in bridging the gap between art and releasing a production, right? But along the way, I really have a bigger vision too. In it, and I hope to God that it gives us an opportunity to come through. Is any artist who works in a silo can produce music, write a song, we can produce, record music, and release it, right? And if you think about it, it's this crazy vision. I don't know if it'll ever come true, but I always wondered if there could be like the ultimate collaboration of a system where entering into the system is an artist of some sort, exiting is some sort of product produced, art or content produced, but along the way, every single person on Guam who is affiliated or associated that can have some sort of portion of that, right? That's kind of where I see 10 years from now, me kind of being in the production space, and then the live performance, just coming down a little bit on the live shows and kind of increasing on the production strategy. You know, and if you think about it, what am I doing today to work towards that? That's kind of what we've done. I've come down a little bit on playing live shows, and I'm really just gotten in the studio a little bit more. I know someone had said there's a notion that said like high tide rises all ships. So if you just focus on rising your own ship, it's a little different mentality. If you focus on rising the tide, then we all rise. And that's kind of the way I feel like when someone comes up to me at a show and says, "Hey man, what gear are you using?" I'm like, open book, like, dude, let me show you everything I'm using, really, because in that sense, like, someone showed me that stuff, whether it was an online forum or someone on YouTube, I didn't invent it myself, right? So, like, why should I actually, like, hold somebody else back, right? You know, I like posting the little Instagram thing where I say ask me a question, you know, because people are like, hey, how do you know, how do you do this? And I'm like, man, I love telling people that. So if anybody has a question you want to ask me, you can Instagram me or Facebook message me or anything you want, man. I'll share whatever I can with you, of course within reason, right? You know, within reason I'll share whatever I can. But yeah, that's kind of high tide rises all ships, man. So you know, that's been a really integral mindset, I guess. Yeah,
right on. Okay guys, we're gonna thank Joe for being on the show today. Hopefully we tie all of this in eventually soon, and thanks my brothers.
This was Mossy, man.
It was a lot of fun.
Thanks everybody.
See you guys next time. Thanks guys for tuning into Mentor Asia Pacific. Once again, I'm Alvin Sanga. Check out all our social media that's going to be linked down below. Stay tuned, more mentors are going to come. We're going to be releasing a mentor every week. And please leave a comment down below for any mentors that you'd like to be featured on the channel, any business professional, entrepreneur, or anybody that you believe is inspiring and can provide to be a mentor for the youth of Guam. Till next time, thank you very much. Sanga out.